The ranger started laughing because he was sure that he got Sahan, but suddenly Mina transformed into a bat to sneak up on the ranger and use the orb of light that shines in a 10-meter radius, also blinding them for 2 seconds. It seemed the ranger that attacked them was an NPC, non-player character. Sahan told Mina to transform into a bat because there were a lot of them in the dungeon, and that helped her successfully sneak up on the ranger. When the ranger was blinded by the light, Sahan used that moment to stab it, killing it. The ranger was the dungeon boss, and the best part of it is the reward you can get when you defeat it. Sahan got the code of the Knight special ability, Shadow Rush, and the Knight Gloves special ability, Guaranteed Shot. Shadow Rush, the caster can move to a shadow within a 10-meter radius. Maximum of 3 stacks recharged once every 5 minutes. Guaranteed Shot, the caster can throw or shoot at their target with pinpoint precision. Sahan knows that these abilities are hard to acquire. He told Mina that he only needs these 2 and she can take everything else. These are Sahan's stats for now and the skills he has acquired. With all this, he thinks that he's the strongest player right now. Clearing the next main quest shouldn't be a problem, but his main goal is to get 100% completion. It seems like the first playthrough transfer package will be available after the completion of the 3rd main quest. The boss of the 3rd quest will be a monster crow. On Jisoo's side, she wanted to check her home to see if her parents were there. When she opened the door, the monsters came flying towards her, but she easily disposed the majority of them. One monster successfully bites her shoulder. She grabs its head and crushes it with her hands. When she looked on the other side of the room, she found her father's dead body. She fell to her knees because of what she saw and started crying. A few moments later, the phone at her house started to ring. Jisoo answered it and asked if it was her mom. On Sahan and Mina's side, they are heading to the next main quest when another person greets them and welcomes them to Lome World. Mina is surprised because that place is still open and finds it strange because of all the monsters. Mina is suspicious about this situation, but Sahan told her that they need to go in because it's the only way to defeat the quest. These human employees are part of the twisted entertainment for the next boss. Inside the Lome world, there are a lot of regular civilians that were forced to participate in this twisted scenario. A notification appeared, but Sahan was surprised by the condition because it was different from his first playthrough. In his first playthrough, he only needed to go to some dangerous attractions and collect 5 stars, but instead, he got difficulty C, where he needed to find the killer on the loose and save as many people as possible. Mina's got difficulty level D, where she needs to collect 5 stars at some dangerous attractions. Sahan got a harder quest probably because he already defeated 2 sentinels. He experienced some setbacks because of that, but he didn't expect it to be so quick. Sahan looked pale, but he was still trying to be optimistic and think that something good would happen after all of this. He also understands that, because of all of his actions, the future he knows is slowly changing. While walking around, Sahan asks Mina about a video game called a Roller Coaster Typhoon, which is reference for Roller Coaster Tycoon. Mina answered that she heard about that game, but imagined that they were inside that game, where the manager can just do anything they want in this game, like taking off some of the tracks midair, and just destroying some attractions while people are inside. The manager doesn't care about the sales of the park, they just want to see the people suffer. The one who runs the amusement park is Constellation Karas. Sahan can't just tell Mina about Karas because these parts of the game are still not introduced to the players. There are powerful monsters in this world, and the Sentinels are at the top of that order, but the constellations are on a different level from them. These constellations can cheat themselves into this world. Karas most likely wants to enjoy himself since he thinks that nothing can kill him yet. Even though its divinity level is low as a constellation, it can still damage humanity like a high-level divinity. Then a man approached them and told them that they could go to the haunted house. The man was wearing a collar, and while they were talking, they heard a beeping sound. It was the collar of the man. The man is yelling that you should give him more time, but the collar exploded, killing him. Mina was shocked because of this. Main Quest 3, monsters are out for blood while a mysterious killer is on the loose. Current survivors, 139 players and 725 civilians. Difficulty level C, time limit until the start of the 4th main quest. Mina is shocked. She thinks that she was the cause of that explosion because she didn't want to go to the haunted house. Other employees look down because they knew that could happen to them too. Sehan expected something, but it was worse than he expected. In his first playthrough, most of the people died in this quest, and there are only a few survivors, but right now this place shouldn't be this empty. It seems Sehan is also looking for a certain person in this place, but first, he must collect some stamps. He approached one of the attendants and told him he wanted to enter the attraction, but the employee warned him that if they entered it they would die. The employee explained to them that to complete this haunted house, they just needed to pass it all the way through. When they entered the haunted house, Mina instantly grabbed Sehan's shoulder because she was scared of this kind of place. While walking inside, they saw a bridge, which they tried to traverse. Traps get triggered, and a giant spiked ball starts swinging, distracting their movements. Sehan shouts and tells Mina to start running, but she keeps on screaming, attracting some zombies. One zombie attacks her, but Sehan protects her, knocking back the zombie. After crossing the bridge, Mina fell on her knees and started crying. Sehan picked her up and told her to hold on to him. Some of the monsters that spawned in front of them, but he stabbed one in the head and kicked the other one, crushing its head. Sehan told Mina that she can also do that, but she insisted that she can't because she was scared. Another two pop up, but Sehan defeats them. It looked like a regular haunted house setup where traps are triggered and monsters pop up to scare the visitors, but in this world, everything is real and is trying to kill them. Mina is just trembling all the time. It seems like she is really scared of this place. Sehan felt that it was hard to fight while protecting someone, but also thought that this was an opportunity to practice in this kind of situation since he had never tried it in his previous life. After finishing the haunted house, the attendant told them that they were the only ones who finished it within 15 minutes. Sehan said it was just okay, while Mina tried to act cool and said she found that experience pretty okay as well while crying and sweating a lot. Then Sehan asks the employee about the collar around his neck and where to get one of those. Sehan got a collar to experiment on, coated it with orichalcum, and threw it on the ground. The employee told him that he could set a certain condition to detonate it remotely. He tried to detonate it, but the orichalcum contained the explosion and didn't destroy the outer coating. Mina asked him about his experiment, and he plans to use that orichalcum to help others. Sehan remembers somebody from his past who told him that once you neglect another person in need, it becomes easy to do it a second time, and that's why he can't let himself abandon anyone. He was saved by that man in his previous life but couldn't become someone like that person. Mina told him that she didn't find Sehan a sympathetic person, but Sehan answered her because he just felt like it. Mina asked him if he was looking for other employees to help, but Sehan says that will put them at much higher risk. It's safer for them to follow the park system for now. Sehan plans to go to the roller coasters next and ask Mina if she's fine with those. She answered that she's an amusement park master except for the haunted house. After going in some attractions, Mina is having a hard time going around these attractions. Sehan told her that if he wasn't with her, she could have died 4 times already. When they rode the roller coaster, it didn't have any safety bars, and enemies kept attacking them while they were riding the coaster. She explained the rides. When they rode the flume, a gigantic monster was waiting for them at the end of the ride. The Euro drop didn't have a brake and tried to ram them into the ground. After all that, she thought that the haunted house was cute in comparison. Now they have 4 stamps and only 1 left, but they can't finish it today because they are closing for now. After the park closed, the park's jingle started playing, but Sehan told Mina that they needed to hide. It looks like they're having a parade, and Sehan covered her eyes because that parade consisted of some players who died. The monsters are roaming the park at night, and the hiding places for players have become extremely limited. He remembers that in the past, some of the survivors told him that there was a big safari park near them and that the people here were trapped from the first to the third main quest. That normally would not happen, but Karas of the Crow constellation made it possible. Karas became interested in the game of the gods because even the highest constellations can't play if they're not gods. Sehan plans to learn what caused this right now. They arrive at the safari, and it looks like there are a lot of people there. Mina asked the guys who were guarding the place and showed them that she already got 4 stamps, and after they saw the stamps, they let them go inside. One of the players named Hyun Sik told them even their leader only got 3 stamps. Mina bragged about it and told them that's because she's quite talented. Hyun Sik told them that they can stay there. Sehan looked around looking for someone, and he finally found the guy he was looking for, the only avatar of Hephaestus, one of the most important gods of Olympus, Shu Song. In his previous life, Shu was one of the most famous top players. The weapons he forged were always traded for an incredible price, and all of the top players had a piece of equipment made by him. Because of Shu's creations, it was possible to extend humanity's survival, even though it eventually still met its end. But Sehan remembers a different Shu because before, he was the kind of person who never gave up hope in any situation, but right now he's like a guy who is likely to die at any moment. Sehan and Mina approached Shu and his brother. His brother seemed like he was blind. They introduced each other. Changgu is the older brother. Changgu approached Sehan and wished that they would survive this quest. Sehan asked Changgu about the sword, and he told him that he was quite familiar with it, but since he lost his eyesight, he only uses it as a walking stick now. Shu reacted to that and told Changgu not to talk about it because it makes him uncomfortable. Sehan finds Changgu's behavior to be on guard in a place like that is odd. Changgu told him that they barely managed to run away from a powerful monster, a sentinel called Chilwung. Sehan was surprised because he only knows Orga. The basilisk is the only sentinel within the Seoul area. Sehan thinks that the appearance of the new sentinel was the reason his quest changed and the reason for Shu's change in behavior. This world is fundamentally divided and administered by the game masters, but there's someone higher than them that regulates and maintains the game as the law, the system. The system is in charge of setting up the sentinels as hidden monsters. As the night passed, Sehan noticed Changgu, who was trying to go outside the zone. The guards warn him that since he was blind, he could be in danger and they won't be able to accompany him, but he told the guards that he'll be fine because he's familiar with the geography of the place. Sehan noticed that Universal Observer was following Changgu and got curious about why. Sehan entered the forum and talked with the young jester, asking her if he could use her observer. He claimed that they wouldn't give a private observer if they didn't have a chosen avatar. The young jester agreed to let him borrow her observer since Mina is sleeping at the moment and asked him to share future information with her first from now on. Sehan asked the young jester to follow the one who went outside. After the observer found Changgu, a bird landed on the top of the tree near him. Changgu kneeled in front of the bird and told the bird that he was ready to report. Changgu reported that 2 people arrived today. Sehan noticed that the bird was not Karas. The bird told Changgu to keep a close eye on them and report immediately if the players started to move because Karas wants to expand the working force very soon. If you enjoy this, please consider subscribing and liking the video. Thanks!